What's up, mi gente? It is your girl Becky, and I am back. And I've missed this. I just been in the slump, didn't know exactly what to do because you can only talk about so much certain things before it starts getting boring. But then I decided, you know what? I have a lot of stuff to say, especially when it came to my pregnancy, being a mother, being a Latina, being anybody, like I'm a human being. There's stuff that I went through and going through and will go through, so why not talk about it? So, welcome to my channel. If you like this type of content, please give it a big thumbs up. If you guys have any other suggestions for me to do, just go ahead and comment below. And yeah, we're gonna get started. So I was really debating whether or not to do this because it is something that I don't like to really share a lot. I don't think my husband really knows the depth of what I went through throughout my pregnancy, and I never want to really show it. But it is something to be talked about just because what I went through, it was really tough for me. And if you can't tell what it says on my little title thing, it is all about my mental state of my pregnancy. And right now, I'm only going to be talking about each trimester just because it is a really long thing to actually talk about. And I don't want to squish it all in one video because then it would be like a 45-minute video. And I don't really want to be rambling on about this because it is a very difficult thing for me to talk about in the beginning anyways. So yeah, so I found out that I was pregnant. I ended up telling my sister first because I just was in so much shock that I was like, oh, okay, well, they told me I have PCOS and endometriosis, so I kind of figured I was going to have enough time to enjoy my marriage and do all of that stuff. But I thank God that I have my little baby boy with me. But of course, I called my sister because, she and I are really close. And I don't know why I didn't tell my husband first, but whatever. Anyways, I told my husband, I told my parents, I told his mom. And the first week was amazing. I was ecstatic because I went to the OB and we saw everything. My husband was there beside me, and it was an amazing experience. But it all started to quickly go downhill for me. Um, it wasn't much of the body changes. It was more mentally. I felt so disgusting. I felt I was fat. I felt that I was just not, I felt like blah. Like before anything, I used to take antidepressants because I was going through depression at one point in my life. And luckily, with talking to my parents and talking to friends that have gone through the same kind of feeling, got my own support group. Talking to them, it was really mind opening or eye opening, whatever you want to call it. And it did help me out a lot. So before I got pregnant, I was losing weight. I was trying to get back on track, and I was just feeling good about myself. Well, a week after I announced that I was pregnant, my mental state was completely shot down. It wasn't the fact that I was depressed. It was just I wasn't feeling myself. I am so in tune with my body that it just felt very foreign to me being pregnant. And I can tell you, my mind was so, I don't know how to explain it. I felt like my mind completely shut down. So basically, what I was going through was all I wanted to do was sleep. I would go to sleep for 14 hours a day, and I would just stay up for 3 hours before I had to go back to sleep because I was so tired. And that would be my whole cycle. I would just get up just long enough to go pee, to go eat, do all that stuff, and then I would go back to sleep. So, of course, it did strain in my marriage because, you don't, with the amount that I was feeling, I just didn't want to be touched. I didn't want anybody talking to me. I didn't want anything from anybody at all. And it's just, I wanted to be left alone. Just plain and simple. I didn't want anybody talking to me. I didn't want anybody asking how I was. I didn't want anybody to just say anything. I just didn't want to interact. And I do have a video on my phone of me having good days. Just, I've had so many bad days throughout my pregnancy that I cannot believe I have gone through all this time until my baby boy was delivered without me talking to the doctor, without me talking to a therapist, anything like that. I just cannot fathom the fact that I did not ask for help. But in the first trimester, you either get sick or, like all that beginning stuff that people talk about. I just lucked out, never had morning sickness, but I did have a lot of diarrhea, which was sucked so bad. But it just, I physically couldn't see any changes, but I could feel my body like be something different. Like I felt like my soul was in a different body, and that the soul of that particular body was trying to fight me to get out. I don't know how to explain it, but it didn't feel like me. So since I didn't feel like myself, all I wanted to do was to shut down. My husband tried everything. He tried getting me to go on walks with him. He tried getting me to go out with friends. He tried everything. And I love him dearly, but I was so ashamed to actually talk to him about what was happening in my mind. Just because I thought he's gonna think all I wanted was attention, or I was just being paranoid, or just different things. And I wasn't. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel pregnancy was really agreeing with me. I just didn't like it. So I just kept quiet. And when I kept quiet, that actually strained my marriage more. And that made us argue a lot because I didn't open up to him. So, of course, shut down everything. Like, I tell my sister everything. And for me to not tell her anything that was going on in my mind is a big deal to me. Just because every time I heard people, they would always tell me, oh, you're going to feel the motherly instinct, you're going to feel the glow, you're going to feel all this stuff that people say that you're supposed to feel. And no, I didn't feel anything of that. People would tell me I was glowing. I wanted to punch them in the face. That's how mad I was. Like, I didn't want anybody complimenting me. I didn't want anybody to acknowledge my belly. I didn't want anything of that. And this was just my first trimester. Second and third trimester, and I was only in third trimester for a month and a half. But it was getting worse and worse and worse. And I never really asked for help. I didn't do anything to ask for help, and I don't know if my baby felt that or anything. It's just, I didn't like it. So yeah, it was really hard because my husband tried touching my belly, and every time he tried getting close to my belly, I wanted to punch him in the balls. Like, I didn't want him touching me. I feel like the whole time that I was pregnant, I was blaming him for getting me knocked up, but at the same time, I opened my legs, so I was also mad at myself. My psychological state was, oh my God, what the, I'm sorry, but what the F? Like, why did I open up my legs? Why couldn't we use protection? I wanted to go see the world. I wanted to go travel the world. What the is going to happen? And I think I'm a planner. And I like to know things ahead of time, and I just hated being in the unknown. I was just, what the fudge? Like, what the French toast? I just didn't like the unknown at all. And that's what kind of got me to be a little bit more pissed off because I just didn't know what to expect, you know? So, yeah, my first trimester, it wasn't so bad. I did manage to sleep a lot, but I was always tired. Of course, at the end, I will insert the clip of that time that I was talking to you guys about. And I don't know, it was bad. I don't really like to think back about it because I felt like such a terrible human being for feeling that way, even though I could not help it. And I knew it was all my mentality. Logically, I understood what was going on. Just emotionally, I could not handle it. So, yeah, um, I'm gonna have to stop. I hear my baby boy crying, so I gotta go upstairs and see what's going on. And also, this this subject is really pulling me down, which is something that I never really thought that I would go through again. But I feel like it would be good for me to talk about because I do want to have a second child. I want my son to have a sibling to play with, to have good memories with, the way I had with my sister and my brother. But it scares me to think that this might happen to me again, even though I hear every pregnancy is different. So I don't know what else to say. I kind of want to stop this right now. So stay tuned if you want to know about my second and third trimester mentality. I will be posting this up soon, and once I feel better, I will edit and do all that stuff. But for the time being, just letting you guys know, after my pregnancy, I never had postpartum. My psychological state of mind actually improved after I pushed out my baby. I felt so much better. I felt like my old self again. So I love my little baby boy. Once I had him, I never let him go. I would carry him until I was so sleep deprived. Then I would put him in his bassinet, all that stuff. So yeah, if you guys like this type of content, I will be getting other mommies and also daddies to tell me about their stories, and I want to know about how they felt and all that stuff. I want to know every other person's experience because my experience can be completely different than other people's or it could be the same. So, yeah, I will be having random things. You won't know what type of content I will be putting out until I put it out. It could be something serious like this. It could be me joking around. It could be me attaching the GoPro to my son and having him go be a toddler, and you can see through the eyes of a toddler what they do. You just won't know what I'm going to put up. I hope this helps out other women that have been dealing like this type of stuff, like how I did or how I was. But if you guys like this content, please let me know. I really want to open up with all this stuff about pregnancy because not all of us had the glow and all that stuff, you know? So if you like it, give it a big thumbs up. And you know what? I'll see you next time. All right? Peace, love, rock and roll. I went there. Yeah, I did. I'm very awkward. How's it feel? It's been a week and we found out that we are having a baby.
It's gonna be a boy. It's gonna be a boy. A baby boy.
I think it's gonna be a girl.
I know it's gonna be a boy.
I think it's gonna be a girl. Knowing my family's luck, I really want a boy first. But knowing my family's luck, it's not gonna be a boy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Make me some